How do you sort out the so-called jargon from real-world practices that work? Do the members of your organization find some business or technology advice utterly confusing? Welcome to Real Talk with Sam Holcman. In this program, we set the record straight, and in terms that business people and technology people can understand. Now, here is your host, Sam Holcman.
Welcome to this edition of Real Talk. I'm Sam Holcman. Thanks for joining me. And the topic for this particular broadcast is really looking at words. And the phrases and words we're going to be looking at is prompt engineering or prompt manipulation. For those of you that have been listening to me in broadcasts and podcasts and things like that, you know that I also introduced what we suggest is the correct definition of what artificial intelligence is doing. It's not hallucinating, it's fabricating. And we want to bring that clarification to those of you that suggest that you are doing prompt engineering, because we believe the correct phrase is prompt manipulation. And this is a critical look at how we shape these AI responses. So this term, prompt engineering, has become popular in recent years to describe the process of carefully designing inputs, known as prompts, for large language models. The phrase suggests that prompting is a deliberate, technical process similar to real engineering disciplines, such as civil engineering, electrical engineering, or software engineering. Yet, when examined closely, engineering may not be the best or most accurate word by any means. In many cases, what's happening is not engineering, but, as we suggest, prompt manipulation. And that definition is the act of shaping questions and contexts in ways that produce desired answers. The danger is that we may allow our own preconceived notions and biases to dominate the process, resulting not in neutral information discovery, but in confirmation bias packaged as AI output. To see why this distinction matters, we need to clarify both the cognitive pitfalls of prompting and what it really means to engineer something. So let's take a look at the illusion of engineering and AI prompting. The adoption of the word engineering leads prompting and lends it to an aura of scientific precision. Engineering implies the systematic application of principles, design constraints, mathematical models, rigorous testing, and safety considerations. When a bridge is engineered, it must hold weight under stress across decades, accounting for weather, material fatigue, and laws of physics. When an aircraft is engineered, every detail from aerodynamics to human error margins is considered and validated. By contrast, prompting an AI involves writing a sentence or two, refining the wording, and perhaps experimenting to see which variant generates the desired outcome. This is feedback-driven tinkering, but it lacks the fundamental components of engineering: systematic planning, durable solutions, adherence to standards, and accountability for failure. Thus, calling the practice engineering risks overstating both its rigor and its objectivity. What is really being shaped is not truth, but output resemblance to what the stakeholder wants to see. This makes it closer to manipulation than to engineering. Confirmation bias and the shaping of AI outputs. All of us, human stakeholders, rarely approach technology as blank slates. We come armed with prior experiences, cultural assumptions, political leanings, and cognitive biases. When interacting with AI, these biases don't vanish. They drive the interaction. Confirmation bias, in particular, plays a very, very decisive role. Now, what is confirmation bias? Confirmation bias refers to the human tendency to seek and interpret information in ways that affirm pre-existing beliefs. When prompting, this often manifests itself in stakeholders steering the models until it generates something that feels right, in line with what they already believe. This is typical. For example, a person convinced of a particular historical interpretation might keep rephrasing the prompts until the AI produces an account sympathetic to that view and belief. Someone researching diet advice might refine the prompts until the AI validates the diet they already favor, disregarding contradictory data. A professional might phrase prompts to reinforce their prior assumptions about best practices in the industry. In these scenarios, the AI isn't confirming objective truth. It's being manipulated by the stakeholders' interactive and iterative wording, reinforcing their existing view. The end result often feels more like a feedback loop than discovery. This is why the word manipulation may be a more accurate term than the word engineering. Now, what does it really mean to engineer something? If we're going to use that word, we need to know what engineering really means. Now, to understand the disconnect between engineering and manipulation, what is real engineering? What does it entail? 1. Principled foundations. Engineering is built on formal knowledge, mathematics, physics, material science, design methods. It requires understanding laws that operate independently of personal beliefs. 2. Systematic design processes. Engineering applies structured methodologies, problem definitions, requirements gathering, prototyping, stress testing, iteration, validation, and deployment. 3. Engineering has constraints and trade-offs. In authentic engineering, every design balances constraints, cost, safety, resource limits, and sustainability. Choices are made transparently, and justified. 4. Accountability and verification. Engineering work must stand up to external scrutiny. Bridges can't collapse, thank goodness. Airplanes must fly, thank goodness. Designs undergo audits, standard compliance, and safety checks. And finally, engineering has durability and scalability. True engineering creates systems that work reliably across contexts, not just quick hacks for one-off scenarios. Compared to this, prompt manipulation looks closer to improvisation than engineering. While both involve iterative refinement, prompting lacks the formalism, durability, and objectivity that anchors and defines engineering solutions. Prompting is really manipulation rather than engineering. By calling the practice prompt manipulation, what we're doing actually is we name it more accurately. Just like replacing the word hallucination with the word fabrication. What stakeholders are really doing is negotiating the language and bias to pull the AI system toward the answer they subjectively deem acceptable. Unlike machines governed purely by physics, the output of AI are probabilistic, context-driven, and inherently shaped by human interactions. This shift in framing has very important consequences. Transparency of intent. If we admit prompting is manipulation, we acknowledge openly that the results are biased by phrasing and intention. The awareness of bias. Recognizing manipulation helps stakeholders reflect on how confirmation bias shapes their outcomes rather than treating them as objective discoveries provides that awareness. Responsible use. Researchers, journalists, and policymakers may use AI more responsively if they understand prompts as tools of persuasion rather than engineering feats and absolute truths. So in conclusion, the term prompt engineering has popular appeal, but it vastly oversells the precision, scientific rigor, and neutrality of this activity. In reality, prompting often amounts to a form of manipulation, in which preconceived beliefs drive both the questions asked and the satisfaction with the answers received. This makes it prone to confirmation bias, feedback loops, and subjective reinforcement. By contrast, genuine engineering is about repeatability, objectivity, and systemization under natural laws and rigorous constraints. Prompting AI systems lacks all of these qualities, placing it closer to rhetorical strategy and bias-driven manipulation than to technical engineering. If we want to use AI responsibly, we must drop illusions of engineering precision when we are in fact manipulating the outcomes. Only by naming the process honestly can we avoid making mistakes on our own biases for truths and make deliberate, reflective use of AI tools. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for tuning in to Real Talk. Be sure to join your host, Sam Holcman, again for another edition of our program. We'll have more real topics of discussion then.